how to initialize your Git repository on your local device and then push it to GitHub. So I'll try and go as slowly as possible so you don't miss anything. The first thing I'm going to do is to create the folder or directory on my local machine, which is my laptop, my system. So I'll create a folder. I'm going to name this DevOps Bootcamp. Enter. So now I'm going to open this folder I just created. Then I'll right click on show more options, then click on open with code. And this would open up the folder on my VS Code. Open up my terminal. I'll change it from PowerShell to Git Bash. Okay, so I'll come over to this place and I will create a file. You can name your file whatever you want, but it must have .md at the end. So this tells GitHub that this is a markdown, and then you can be able to read it on your GitHub. So I'll name my project 1.md. Enter. Now this project 1.md is where I'm going to write my documentation. Let me just put like one line there. My name is J. Okay, so we'll come over here again and we'll create a folder. We are going to name this folder img. Now you can name your folder whatever you want. You can name it images, you can name it pictures, but just have a folder where you're going to be storing the images you need to complete your documentation. Click on enter. Now I'm going to take a screenshot of this page just to show you how this would work. Taking my screenshots. Then I'll save it. I want to save it in DevOps Bootcamp that I just created, the img folder. I'll call this 1. Now, if I want to reference the picture in this folder, I'm going to do this. 1 and the brackets. Then in the bracket, I will write the name of this folder, which is img, add a backslash, and then it will show me everything inside the folder. So if I had multiple pictures, let's say 1 to 10, it's going to list all of them out, and then I select the one I want. So let's do a side-by-side view. This is what it will look like on GitHub. My name is Jay. Welcome to Jay's World, and the picture will be directly under. Hi, people. If you want to make a list, you use dash and then write whatever you want. First task. Second task. Now see how it displays here. First task, second task. Him, her. And this is how it displays here. If you want to make a text bold, you use 2 asterisks, write the text, hi world, 2 asterisks. And this is how it will be here. It's in bold. Now you always want to make sure there's a space between each text, between each bullet point, between each number. So I can write a long paragraph here. Like when you're writing a paragraph, you just continue. But if you're moving to a new point, there should be a space between the first point and the next point, and there should also be a space between your text and the image you're going to reference. This makes your work come out cleaner than if you just clutter everything together. And then whenever you're done, like when you're on the last line, never leave it like this. VS Code will actually even tell you. You see this yellow line? It's telling you that you shouldn't end the line here. So you just add one space and then this is fine. So this number 1 here, it can actually be anything you want it to be. I usually just like to name it, give it like the same name of the image, but you can give this space whatever name you want. But the image has to be the exact one inside this place. Okay, so now we're done with this. Let's get down to it. I want to initialize a Git repository in this directory. Now, if I try running Git commands right now, it's not going to work because I haven't done Git init yet. It will tell me this directory is not a Git repository. So first thing I'm going to do is Git init. So this initializes a repository in this directory. Now, sometimes I use directory and folder interchangeably because on Windows, we usually call them folders, but on Linux, we call them directories. But it's basically the same thing. So to disable this message from popping up anytime I run something, I'll just copy and paste it here. And that's disabled. So after initializing your Git repository with Git init, the next thing is git add dot. So this dot is like saying present working directory. So where we are now, I want to add everything inside. So I'm adding the project1.md and I'm also adding the img directory I created. So that's, I'm adding this to my working tree. Next, I would do git commit -sm. SM stands for signed message. And then I will put a quote, and in the quote, I will write what I am committing. So let me write, this is my first push. Okay, enter. So now I have initialized, I have added, I have committed. The next thing is meant to be push. So I'm supposed to push it to GitHub. But this is the first time I want to push this particular thing to my GitHub. So I would have to create a GitHub repository with the exact same name. So I'm going to go to GitHub and create a repository named DevOps Bootcamp. So click on New. DevOps Bootcamp. It's available. Create repository. Immediately after creating repository, you will see this. So you would copy this URL and then we return to our VS Code. And the next thing we're going to do is git remote add origin and paste the link. Okay, so now we have synchronized this GitHub repo on our local device with the one on our GitHub accounts. So the next thing we are going to do is push the changes made on this local device to our GitHub accounts. And we'll do that by running git push, add the U flag, that's -u, that means upstream. So we are pushing the changes upstream to origin. Now, if you look at this place, you'll see it says master. This is my default branch. So the default branch on GitHub right now is master. So I'm going to use origin master. Or if this place say main, because some people's own is going to say main. If your default branch is main, then you will use origin main, right? But mine is master, so I'm going to use origin master. So I'm pushing my changes upstream to my master branch. Okay, so it's uploading and that's done. So we return to GitHub to check it out, refresh, and this is what we just created. See the commits. Now this is why I use SM instead of just M. Signed off by Jamila Bello, JBills369. It gives the exact information of the person who just made this commit. So if you're working in a large organization, they usually prefer you to use SM so you sign every commit and they know who did what. Yeah, so let's go into project1.md. You can see what we did on our VS Code. So when working with your VS Code, I always encourage everyone to use let me show you so you know what it looks like. So it's this window with something like a magnifying glass. It's a side that you open the preview to the side. So whatever you're writing here, you can see the way it displays on the side. You can always just close this for more space. And then you write, you see how it shows on GitHub. The way it is here is the way it's going to present on GitHub. See this? This. If you want to add in notes to explain something, you use this notes. Come down. This explains things. Space. Now for notes on VS Code, it's going to show like this, but let me show you how it will be on your GitHub repo. So just git add, git commit, showing notes, git push. So after the first push I make with the U flag, I no longer need to do git push U origin master. I can just do git push since it has already been synchronized and is tracking my master branch. It just goes directly. So now take notes. This is how it looks here. But on GitHub, reload. This is how it's going to be. Notes. This explains things. Yeah, so this makes for a cleaner working environment on your GitHub. It's better than if you just do something like this. You know, this is rough, but the other one is better. So basically that's it. Bye guys.